everyone. We are very excited to have you all here with us for the kickoff of the Student Voices Informing Non-Credit Workforce Education Project, the collaboration between NCWE and Education and Employment Research Center at Rutgers. So we'll do a quick intro of the project team. I know we've had the privilege of meeting with many of you, but not all of you. And then if you just want to put in the chat your name, role, and what college you're at, we can also kind of see who's in the room. So I'm Kate Kinder. I'm the Executive Director of the National Council for Workforce Education. And I will turn it over to Michelle.
Hi, I'm Michelle Vanoy. I'm Director of the Education and Employment Research Center, and I'll tag Kathy on our team.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Great to see you all, and I look forward to getting to know you all. I'm Kathy Hughes, and I'm a Senior Research Consultant with the EERC. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nikki Boyd. I'm a researcher at the Education and Employment Research Center. I'm excited to meet all of you, to get to work with all of you, and to learn about your colleges, your non-credit programs, and also the students who enroll in them. I will pass it to Tracy.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tracy Cangiano, and I handle the administrative components of the project.
Great. So a quick overview of the agenda today is we really wanted to start the community practice off. We wanted to start off with some of the logistical things, knowing that you may have some of your leaders who maybe need to leave or don't want to be part of or aren't able to be part of the whole discussion around what you're interested in learning. So we thought we'd start out with that. And then we want to hear from you. We heard from you through the meetings or through the applications, but wanted to make sure when we had the big group and just so you could all see what all of your peers are saying, what you are really curious about learning in this project, especially from the students. And then we'll also share what all of you have put and shared that you want to learn through the community practice. And then we also, because this is a community practice and really the value of peer learning, we want to create some space to hear from all of you. So we will turn it over to the college lead to share in hopefully around 3 minutes because it's a big group. Just the overview of the college. So kind of that 30-second pitch that you all are very skilled at doing, I'm sure. So we get a sense of the colleges, the size, the places, the students we're all serving. And then one thing that your non-credit programs are doing really well and one thing that you want to improve. And then we'll talk about next steps. So that is our time together. If there are any questions, please put it in the chat. We want to make this as interactive as possible and really value all of your time, knowing you all have a lot going on. So with that, we're going to turn it over to Tracy to just cover a couple of quick logistics and then the EERC team.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I've communicated with most of the team leads and most of you all as team members and things. And so I think everyone has started the sort of like administrative setup process. And if you have any questions, I just wanted to reiterate that I am here to answer them and to help. And the same throughout the project. If there's sort of like administrative tasks or things that come up that you need help with, just reach out. I can help solve those. And the only other thing I want to say is during this meeting, I have everyone has their camera on, but there's no obligation. It is nice to see everybody and get to know one another, but there's no obligation to keep it on. So no pressure. And if you have questions, I can also talk after this meeting. Just maybe send me a chat.
Okay. And I'll just spend a minute talking a little bit about some of the research asks that we're working on. We really want to spend most of the time today kind of hearing from you and talking about your hopes for this work together. But one of the things we wanted to get started with, at the very outset is just to better understand your programs and what they are. And so we have our first research request for you all is the program data request. We'll send you this document later, but I just wanted to kind of show this to you. What we're looking for is this is the kind of information we're looking for. We want to know like what programs you have some short descriptions of them, how long are they, what fields are they in, what's the cost, what's the funding, what credentials are associated with a whole range of things. Now, this is a very long list of things. If you don't have all this information, that's fine. What we're really looking for is for you to share with us like whatever you have, you must have some place, wherever you have some information that you've compiled on your programs, that you track on your programs, the offerings. If you can send that to us, then we can work on trying to, understand and tabulate kind of what the overall mix of programs is. We don't want you to go and create a new spreadsheet for us with all of these, data elements, but we want you to just take a look at this as sort of a guide for what we're after, and do your best to kind of share with us what you have that will help us get a feel for what your programs are. So we're looking to have this request from you, the data, by February 9th. Then we're asking that you could send that information to Tracy. We'll follow up, just sharing this document with you all. But again, this is just kind of descriptive information, looking at your non-credit programs that are workforce related. So again, kind of trying to think about that scope of the workforce related programs. And this can be programs that are currently active or ones that are sort of on your books. Maybe you're not currently offering it, but you expect that you will at some point. Those would be the things we'd want to include. So I hope I haven't missed anything on that. That's, I think, kind of the general ask there. If there's any questions, happy to answer. And, just let you know that other things coming up, beyond that will include a survey for the college leads to complete just on your general policies and practices around non-credit. That will be coming. And then we're also working very hard to try and design a student survey that will be helpful. And so we definitely want to reach out to you all and get feedback on that. So the research team will be in touch with next steps on that. And primarily some of those tasks will fall to the college lead, but just wanted to give you a sense of what's coming up on the research side. So that's it for me. Unless there's any questions, happy to answer.
I have a question. Are you looking for it for all of our programs? So if we have about 150 different workforce development programs, are you looking for that information on each program?
For all of your non-credit workforce programs, yeah.
Okay, and you can take it in the format that we already have it in?
Yeah.
Perfect.
And if for some reason we can't work with it, we'll let you know, but I suspect we'll figure out a way. So send us what you have and we'll work with it. We'll do our best to work with it. And we're so excited to work with you all. I can't say, it's so exciting to see this group assembled here and just all the things that we're going to learn. So really happy to have everybody here today.
Any other questions before we dive in? Okay, and certainly as they come up, you can email all of us or chat or bring it up later. So the next piece we are going to dive into is what we want to learn from this project. Is that showing okay? Yes.
It looks like you're showing your presenter view.
Okay.
It's hard to see the table.
Okay. Let me. I have no idea what's going on here.
When you weren't in the slideshow mode, you could see it okay if you just wanted to zoom in a little bit more.
Okay. So this is showing okay?
Yeah, that looks better.
Okay. And this isn't working?
No, it is. It looks good
No,
now.
that's good.
Good.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
That's good, Kate.
I have my computer did some update and now it displays all over the place. So apologies. Clearly I need some non-credit tech training. So here is what came out of the surveys that you all filled out, the interest forms. And I'll send this out so you can see after the fact, but it's divided into, as you recall from the interest form, the leads filled out. It had what you were doing already as a college and then what you wanted to learn about. And then there's an opportunity to fill in and add your own. And so the other are what those answers are at the beginning. So certainly I would imagine more of you are interested in Workforce Pell. That's not necessarily a reflection of the total interest, but just what was added in. So I think you can see what's great about this learning community is there is a lot of alignment between where there's interest in learning and doing. So where there's interest in learning, there are things that you all are doing at your college. And if you're doing it, maybe there's also opportunity to scale and do it better and learn from one another. So the top 3 things that people are reported doing in the non-credit space are really working on that credit for prior learning and credit alignment, the apprenticeship and work-based learning space, and then financial assistance. And we recognize that probably varies greatly state to state, college to college, region to region. So really want to create space to dive into that and learn more about that. Throughout the learning community, what we do hope to do is create space where you can each present more in depth, and maybe we have panel discussions. So we'll be following up and asking you which of these topics you might want to share more about. In terms of learning, there was a lot of interest. The top 3 were around quality credentials and quality credential frameworks. And so certainly we are very fortunate to have the ERC team, given all the work that they have done in that space. So can dive into some of the research here, hear about what you're doing, what other states and colleges are doing. And then there's also the student services and creating parity between non-credit and credit students. I think there's a lot of opportunity to look at that. And there's been more attention, I think, broadly in the space that came up in AACC's Resilient by Design report a few times, which I was happy to see. So I just think that'll be great to hear is how people are doing that. And then that connects to how are we funding it? What are the policies that support it? And then renaming non-credit. So I think for purposes of this, we're just using non-credit because there's so many different names, but I think that is clearly some interest in learning that we could also ask students about, ask all of you about, just there's a lot of opportunity there. So that is what came up in the college interest. The goal of this peer learning community is that we are responsive to what you need and what you're interested in learning, and also that it creates space for you to share what's really successful and problem solve as a peer learning community. What are those challenges? So there'll be a more in-depth chance to do that at the NCWE conference, but then we will certainly figure out different ways to do that effectively virtually, and perhaps have you do some weighing in of topics or items or sharing resources in between the meetings online. So any questions or comments about that before we go to the student piece? Okay. So then the next thing is we wanted to create a chance for all of you to do some quick brainstorming and get this on record so you can all see this. So the question here is, what do you want to learn from non-credit students through this initiative? So what questions should we be asking your students? What information and research is missing? So this will all help. As you remember with the project, we really want you to inform the research and what you want to know. What do you want to know from your students? What do you not know about your students? So this is a Padlet. And so if you scan this QR code, let me also put into the chat in a sec the link if you want to do it on your computer. But we'll spend about 5 minutes just adding items. And the way you do this, way you add your comment is if you see, I put the screenshot down here. If you see there's this little orange plus button when you go there, you just click on that and then you can write a comment. You can change the questions if you want, or the color if you want, and then you just publish.
Fiscal year 2025 had a total of $30 million. We said
so we'll go back to that. And if you want to spend about 5 minutes doing that, they'll start popping up and you can see everyone when you're entering them, and we'll go over them and have a space to discuss a little bit. So I will stop sharing here and give you all a few minutes. Any questions about this?
Is there a link, or would you just use the cell phone?
Yeah, you can use a cell phone, and then let me
If you don't have a cell phone?
yeah, I'll get you a link right now. Here, one sec. I need to switch my computer view. There's a link. So if you go on there, it'll work the same way, and you can do the orange, whichever route you'd like to go. How about one more minute, and then we'll open up for discussion for a few minutes. The question about does Padlet allow you to export save? Yes, it does. Okay. Well, there is a lot to read through and really great questions. And I see that you all, I left the emoji mode on so you could comment, and the comment mode just to thumbs up. And it sounds like, or seems like a lot of you discovered that. I should have mentioned that. If you want to thumbs up or comment on another post, you are welcome to do that. We will leave this Padlet open if you think of something after the fact that you wished you would, and we'll send out as a link. And what's great about this is then we can also group this by topic. So these are a lot of really fantastic questions, and see some clear themes about asking why did people choose the programs, what supports helped. I saw one that I loved about what did you tell your friends and family about the course or program you took? Like that's such a great way to get at the impact or value that they had in a way that allows for storytelling and really for students, barriers, why they chose the program versus other. I saw a question too about belonging, completion. Did it connect to their goals? So does anyone want to come off mute or raise a hand and talk about what you see or what any of the comment you made or colleagues that you really resonated with you? I know it's a big group, but a few of you would be great to hear from. Okay, Kara.
I think the thing that was really most interesting to me and why I wanted to be part of this project is that I'm coming from, student activities and student life, and we know this information. We test and, research this information constantly about our credit students. And it's just so, I think, heartbreaking how much we have kind of neglected asking our non-credit students, and why I'm so excited for this. So thank you for making it possible.
Yeah, great. Heather?
So thanks. There are a couple of things. So I've been at CCBC for 25 years. Most of that time has been spent in continuing ed. The last 5 years or so, I've been a Bridger department, and we've created a department called Student Central. And so the edict of that is, is a department that does no harm, but serves our student. A student is a student. And so what I'm finding is there certainly is a gap of knowledge and understanding, but still some of this unintentional culture of, oh, well, that's Con Ed. That's not credit.
Yeah.
And so really there are a couple of things that I've seen over the last couple of years in particular that I really want to source out. Two of them. One, our president has over the last few years really drove home tuition free, and that extends over to continuing ed. It's a much harder process to manage because of how nuanced our programs are, and it doesn't fit nice and neat into that financial aid bucket. But so many of we saw, a lot of students just sort of gravitate towards taking advantage of that funding. And I don't think folks realize if that funding's not available, students can't. A lot of times continuing ed programs are higher dollar. And so if there's not a third party pay involved, it's a little harder to pay out of pocket, especially for adult learners who are trying to retool, to be able to take advantage of those retooling programs and opportunities. So really getting an understanding that continuing ed is not, that very stereotypical underwater basket weaving mentality, that there's a lot of, academic-esque components there that people rely on, but they also rely on the funding. The second thing is sort of closely knitted to that is that advisors are available. That's one thing that we're sort of struggling. We're implementing case management at CCBC, but we are doing it right now. The focus is for credit. Our coordinators and directors in our continuing ed area do a phenomenal job sort of doing that hand-holding and individual, I guess we'll call it faculty level advising with our students. But sometimes students want that initial hand-holding to make sure that they're on the right track, make sure that they're doing what they need to, especially if they are an adult learner who previously went to, maybe got their bachelor's degree, which is an awful lot of our continuing ed workforce students. So they're looking for that type of advisement support model. And oftentimes institutions don't offer that level of support for continuing ed.
Yeah, those are all really great highlights and examples of what, how you made things a lot better for students and just where those gaps still lie. And then something we can discuss certainly as a community of practice. The other piece too is I'll be sure and send this out so that you all have access to it. And both can use it in presentations if you want, add to it. And then certainly we will use this to inform the survey, which we will want more input from you. But I think there's some great questions in here, and also framing and language. We want to make sure it resonates with your students. So I think that's one of the things we really want you. I know like there was a question on here about, does our jargon resonate with the students? We want to make sure whatever survey we send out does not sound so jargon laden that the students are like, this isn't for me. So we'll give it a chance for you to have further input, and then certainly use this however you want locally or to inform your work. So then the next piece here, just wanted to make sure that before we jump into well, actually, let's see. Is this working okay this time?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is what we are going to hear from all of you, and want to make sure you all know who's here. I'm sure you saw some familiar names and from the email list, but really these are the 14 colleges we have right now. We're meeting with one more to join the community of practice. And what we decided to do is we had a lot of interest and more interest than there were colleges to work with. And so we wanted to make sure that we thought there was value in bringing you all together to start versus doing rolling cohorts as we started at the beginning. Because we thought that would give you all a chance to inform the research questions, the learning, and really tap into all your expertise and experience. And then we can stagger. The ERC team clearly is not going to have capacity to do all of the research all at once. So then it allows us to kind of stagger the research throughout the time, which may also be an opportunity to work better with your calendars for non-credit education, or when you have different tasks for your colleges and the peaks over the terms, knowing you have different roles. So these are the colleges here. So I'm going to stop sharing, and we are going to go around and really want to hear from all of you. And so this is the time to hear information about your college, and then what you're doing really well. One thing you're doing well in workforce education, one thing you want to improve. And we're going to go down the list alphabetically. I know there's a couple people who might need to delay so we can move to the next college. But if we could try to keep it around 3 minutes, want to hopefully get through and hear from everyone today. So you really have a sense of who's in your learning community. So we will start with Bishop State Community College. So Akarim, I think, is that you?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I am Akarim Spears. I'm the Dean of Workforce and Economic Development at Bishop State Community College. We are HBCC, or Historically Black Community College. We averaged total enrollment about 4,500 students, and then about another 1,600 to 1,800 through our workforce and adult education programs. One thing I can say, I think that we do very well is we're fortunate in our area. We have manufacturing, aviation, chemical, shipbuilding, and a lot of healthcare. So we don't struggle for jobs. We give a lot of opportunities for our folks. So I think one of the things we do well is kind of engage industry. We also have a Gene Haas Center for Advanced Manufacturing Technology through Gene Haas Foundation, and that allows us to have a lot of new equipment. We have an industrial maintenance and process technology lab, brand new CNC machine shop funded by Gene Haas, and then we also are getting heavy into the maritime space with building submarines with the Navy, and we're trying to be on the cusp of that. So I think Mobile is growing leaps and bounds, and I think we're just here as a community college to support that. But a lot of times the companies want the workforce very quickly. So instead of going through the credit route, we always want our students to ultimately go through the credit route. But I think to meet the needs of the industry is that they incentivize them continuing their education once they met that immediate workforce needs. So I guess, again, I would say that what we do best is probably engage our partners because we see such a need in our area.
Great. And what's one thing you want to improve on?
I would really like to have all of our programs kind of post-employment. We haven't gotten there yet. I think all the data shows that if you pay students to come to training, they will do much better as far as retention, and they treat it like a job. And what we always find out as well is that probably my best employee is probably working. They may not be able to afford to go to a 4-week, 5-week training program with no pay. So that's one of the things I would really like to improve.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Next up is College of Lake County.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kara. I am the acting manager of our community education department. The College of Lake County is in northern Illinois. We're about halfway between Chicago and Milwaukee. We serve about 23,000 students a year, the majority of whom are part-time students. We are an Hispanic serving institution and also an Achieving the Dream Leader College of Distinction, which we're very proud of. I think what we're doing really well is that we care very deeply about the mission, our team does. We're trying to really look, we have programs for everybody from gifted middle schoolers up to senior citizens. And one I always like to brag on is our Lancer Explorer Institute, which is giving neurodivergent adults access to career education and job skills. We're also working on a Spanish language manufacturing boot camp to go with our industry-led manufacturing alliance. So we're doing a lot of really cool things. We're keeping up with how do we expand credit for prior learning? How do we expand externships? So we have all these great ideas, but I think what we're really struggling with is how do we slow down enough to streamline our processes and implement the new things and prioritize and grow our department in line with the college's strategic mission.
Great, thank you. Next up is Community College of Baltimore County.
Hello, I'm Louise Slazak with Community College of Baltimore County. I'm here with my colleagues, Don Elliott, Matthew Bernardi, Jay Bowie, Lynette Higgins, and Heather Curry. You heard from Heather earlier. We service the Baltimore County, really the Baltimore metro area, Maryland, as throughout the country. We serve about 51,000 students a year. More than half of those students are on the non-credit side of the house. That's our side of the house. We served 27,000 students last year. We have 3 main campuses, 4 extension centers throughout the state, throughout the county, as well as community sites, employer sites, and so forth. We generate about $13 million between contract training and customized training, and probably another $5 million in grants. We're about 51% minority students on the CE side, about 65% on the credit side. As Heather mentioned earlier, someone mentioned we have tuition free. So we know about 90% of our students have taken advantage of some type of tuition assistance. Overall, we have about 150 workforce training programs. We also have some other training programs, adult basic education, ABE, GED. We work with individuals with disabilities. We have a program for the TANF population. So we're pretty big. We're stretched out all over the place. We have a team of probably over 150 full-time employees in continuing education doing this work, including Heather's and Don's side of the house. What we do well is I think that we can meet the students where they are. So no matter what door the students come in, we have something for that student. And we can help them, and we blend programs, we blend funding. So someone coming in with the ABEG program could then go into a workforce training program. They can have other supports. The other thing we do well, as Heather mentioned, a student is a student is a student. So CE students have access to tutoring, library, gym, food pantry, financial aid, advising, whatever it might be. And that's good. We could improve, I initially had student completion, but I'm going to switch that to career services after Akram talked a little bit about it. Our school as a whole lacks career services. Often students get jobs from their teachers, leads. We have employers that come in, but we don't have a formal process of intake. What are your goals? What kind, that type. I think mainly we've been a transfer institution, or employment just happened. But I think on today's economy, we should really focus on jobs for our students. And even if that means, because we know 90% of them probably work at least part-time. So even if they could just work part-time in the field they're studying, it would help them. Do my colleagues want to add anything real fast? Because I don't think I used my full 3 minutes. Okay, thank you.
Thanks very much. Next up is Cuyahoga Community College, or Tri-C.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kim Johnson. I have multiple colleagues here who I won't introduce. You all can read their names and stuff. But I'm the Director of Workforce Student Success in the Workforce Innovation Division at Cuyahoga Community College, or as we call it, Tri-C. We are in the greater Cleveland area. We have 4 main campuses and a number of other locations, including a couple of corporate college locations, access centers, satellites. We service around a little over 42,000 students, credit and non-credit combined. I actually don't have the number specifically for non-credit students, but I'll circle back to that. We have a broad range of non-credit programming, and it's split into 2 buckets. The corporate college part really focuses on professional development, things like Lean Six Sigma, and that's not, what we're focusing on at the college. We're focusing on our workforce division, and we have 5 academies. The Advanced Manufacturing and Engineering Training Academy, that includes things like welding, electric vehicle technician, and fast track computer science and IT programs. Our Construction Training Academy, students have to be in a registered apprenticeship to participate in those programs, with the exception of our pre-apprenticeship training, where students spend about 4 weeks just trying different construction areas to see what is the best fit for them. Next, we have our Health Industry Solutions Training Academy. A couple of our popular programs there are the Certified Nursing Assistant program and the Community Health Worker program. We have our Public Safety Training Academy, which includes, among other things, the Police Academy and the Fire Training Academy. And then last but not least, we have our Transportation and Logistics Training Academy, which includes CDL certifications or credentials in supply chain and logistics. We have a lot of programs, so that's just some highlights. In terms of what we do well and what I think we could probably improve, we have a really broad range of industry-aligned non-credit programs. I think we do a good job of connecting students to career services and careers that provide family-sustaining wages. But I think we have some infrastructure issues in terms of collecting data and being able to use it for non-credit students, which is why I don't know how many non-credit students we have. Or how many credentials non-credit that we issued last year. We just don't have the infrastructure on the side of the house like we do for our credit programs. Yeah, and that's it. Unless one of my colleagues has something they want to add.
Thank you very much. A lot of common themes. It's great to see alignment across. Next up is Donya Anna.
Hey everyone, this is Mary Ulrich. I'm the Executive Director of our Workforce and Community Engagement Division at Doña Ana Community College. And A little bit about our college. We're actually a branch. We're part of the New Mexico State University system that has 3 community colleges and 1 4-year research institution. So we're located in the same city as New Mexico State. It's in Las Cruces, New Mexico. If you're not familiar, we're in the very southern part of the state. We border, so it's borderlands region here. We're very close to El Paso, Texas, and Ciudad Juarez. We have at Doña Ana Community College has about 6, or has 6, not about, 6 locations across the county in the southern part of the county of Doña Ana County. About 6,000 degree seeking and dual credit students, and about 2,000 non-credit students. And those are annual numbers, of course. In our adult education program, about 950 students, and it's primarily ESL, but our high school equivalency program has recently been able to really take off, and we're increasing our numbers on that side. So that is helping us start more integrated education and training programs throughout our offerings. We have about 450 workforce training students. A lot of those students are connected to our CDL program. We're right on the of or the crossroads of I-25 and Interstate 40. So it's a major trucking route. And that's just a real solid career option for many people. We have about 400 continuing ed students, community ed. And then for our workforce students, the average age is about 30, 35. And I think a little bit due to the truck driving program and just some of the gendered relationships there, we skew a little bit high on male students. So it's about 70% male to 30% female across our programs. One thing that I think we're doing really well is we've created kind of a signature program. Kay Lilly, who's joining us for this team, has created a program called Personal and Career Discovery. And it's about a 50-hour program where people have a chance to really learn about themselves and discover what they can do, what their skills are, what their values are, and do a fair amount of career exploration within that program. We're seeing that program provide access for some very vulnerable community members, some new majority learners, including people in reentry at the moment, reentering citizens, and then people with disabilities, as well as kind of displaced workers who've been out of the workforce for a while. So we're really, we are providing a little bit more access for those people, as well as we do have a scholarship program right now offered by the state legislature, some funds for that. So affordability is good right now, but it is temporary funds. So we're hoping to be able to institutionalize those funds. It's kind of one of our challenges. How are we showing our successes? How are not just successes in terms of like outputs, but impact on the community? How are these jobs that we're able to get for students or students training leading to better jobs for them and higher family stability and things like that? So we're really interested in, of course, expanding, learning about that and expanding to our programs out to more and more community members. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Glen Oaks Community College.
Hi, this is Christine Stevens. I'm the Director of Workforce Development and Continuing Education, and I also have Dr. Tammy Russell on the line with me, and so I'll let her give a little bit of background about who we are and where we're located.
Hi, good afternoon. So we are located in Southwest Michigan, very rural area, and we're small. Our credit population is approximately 1,400 in the given fall term, although we've experienced some nice growth recently, with a fiscal year equated student number of approximately 850, if it gives you an idea of how small we really are. Those are our credit students. Non-credit, as someone mentioned from another institution, has been a little bit more difficult for us to track and document because those processes haven't been there for years. And so Chris came on board a few years ago, and that's something that we've been working on together to get a better handle on those data. We don't have a lot of structures right now in place, but we've made some really good improvements in that direction. About 50% of our credit student population is high school dual enrolled, so that makes us kind of unique, even in Michigan, with a pretty significant dual enrollment population. And a large number of those are also early middle college students. Employee-wise, just to continue to give an idea of our size, we have about 140. That is both college employees as well as adjunct instructors. And in terms of our student population, because of that high dual enrolled group, our median age is 19, which is a bit unusual for community colleges. And in terms of race and ethnicity, it's very representative of the community and the county and service area in which we live. I am over institutional research, and so one of the things I actually just finished up today is our IPEDS grad rate. And I note that we tend to have an exceptionally high grad rate because our dual enrolled students come in as first-time post-secondary students with a substantial number of credits in their pocket. So that's one of the kind of good but unintended outcomes necessarily of having such a high dual enrolled population. So my role in workforce development in the non-credit side has been pretty limited over the years. And so we're just starting to transition and integrate those two sides of the house. So I'll have Chris resume with a description of what goes on that side. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Tammy. So, as Tammy mentioned, we are a rural college. We are maybe 10 miles from Indiana. We like to call ourselves Michiana, where there's a large Amish population. We are literally in the middle of farmland. And so, in terms of what we do well, oh, by the way, we have been a department of one in workforce development for a number of years. And just this past October, we brought on a coordinator to assist with short-term training programs. So that is one of the things we're trying to improve. But what we do well is historically, because it's been one person in this role, has been our customized or contract trainings and connecting with area businesses, finding grant opportunities to help manufacturers and businesses get funding for the training, and then developing the strong relationships not only with manufacturers and businesses, but also chambers of commerce and economic development organizations in our area. We also run a motorcycle safety program and put about 400 students per year through our program, which also gets folks on campus that wouldn't even know that we were here, because we sit way back off the road, and so many of them come out and say, "Wow, I had no idea we had a community college here," which is another issue in and of itself. But what we really need help with, I think this has been mentioned a bit, is our processes. We are still very manual. We utilize a system that, it's just paperwork. And our president has actually put this to the top of the list, that this is one of the things we need to change. But we track our revenue and other metrics fairly well. But it would be wonderful to have reports that we can run and track workforce development, how many transfer to credit, all those kinds of things would be fantastic, and have a system that does that. and again, with the increase of our department, which has now doubled to 2 people, we would like to increase our short-term training offerings that align with the needs of the employers in our area. And so to kick that off, we're looking at CDLA truck driving and also floor covering installation. But that gives you a little bit of an idea of how small we are. And I'd like to throw down the challenge of, is there anybody out there on this call that's smaller than that?
Great, thank you so much. Next is Johnson County Community College. And Jessica, are you, I know there was a request to go. Okay, so I want to make sure you're okay, that we didn't, I didn't need to move.
No, you're good. Jessica Johnson from Johnson County Community College, no relation or true affiliation with the college other than they are my employer. But I am the executive director of our workforce development and continuing education arm of the college. We're located in Overland Park, Kansas, which is a suburb of the Kansas City metro area. And we have approximately 17,000 credit students on the credit side, and approximately last year we had around 16,000 non-credit students on our workforce development continuing ed side of the house. We primarily on the non-credit side, our primary audience is adults. And right now we're skewing towards I consider myself middle of the road age and older, honestly. And so that is one thing that we are wanting to improve, is to reach the younger adult audience. And looking at those 20 some odds that have been in their first role and they're starting to gain traction and they want to go through growth, what does that look like for them, and help bring them in to get the training that they need for that. So that's one thing that we are looking to work on. As far as our programs that we have quite an array. We have 2 buckets. I know someone used the term bucket earlier, but we do have 2 buckets of programs. We have our workforce programming, and then we also have our community programming. So I'm just going to touch base real quick on our community programming. I call it our fun side of the house of non-credit. We do youth, a lot of youth weekend courses, as well as summer camps. And then we also focus a lot on the scouts, engaging with them and bringing them into campus and doing a lot of their training, not only for the youth students, but also for the scout leaders in the area. We have life skills, we have leisure courses. Mahjong has been a huge hit here lately. We do driver's ed and also motorcycle safety training on our community side. Then on our workforce side, we have open enrollment classes. So those are like our public courses that anyone can sign up for, and we have areas in business and leadership, also in computer technology, computer applications and IT is what we call that area. Healthcare, we do a lot of seminars there, and then mediation and early childhood education. And then just last year, we brought on nail technology. We also have on that side of the house a very robust CDL program. And I would say that is one thing that we are doing exceedingly well in, is that program. We just built a CDL range last year, and we are looking already to expand. We've outgrown the new space that we have. So looking to expand that CDL program. Let's see. Other areas that we want to improve on, we're always looking for continuous improvement. And right now, the college as a whole, as well as the non-credit side, we're really looking to bolster ourselves in that micro-credential space. What does that look like for us? Looking at PLA opportunities, non-credit to credit pathways, what does that look like? And then really just better understand true industry needs. I'm not sure about many of you out there, but we engage with our chambers. We belong to about 7 or 8 different chambers here locally, engage with them on a very regular basis and hear needs throughout. But then when programming gets put in, we don't get any registrations or enrollments. And so really understanding what that true need is, especially in that IT space. So.
Great, thank you. Next up is Norco College.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, everyone, depending on where you're at. My name is Ashley Etchison. I am the Dean of Instruction for Career Education Programs here at Norco College, and we have several members of our team here. We are located in Southern California in what's called the Inland Empire, or Riverside County. We are part of a 3-college district with our sister colleges, Moreno Valley and Riverside City College. We serve about 18,000 students annually. We have quite a few programs in non-credit, mainly focused in our School of Business and Management, and a lot of programs in our School of Applied Technologies and Apprenticeships. A lot of those programs and a lot of ESL, non-credit as well, which has been very successful. With our technical programs, we do a lot of course mirroring, I'll get the word out, which I think we do fairly well. Another thing I would like to highlight that we do well within non-credit is the development of a new entrepreneurship program and our lead faculty connecting with our local community organizations and cities to offer these programs, and something that we're working on to get our non-credit to our students outside of the college and in the community. Pretty excited about that. And trying to think what else. Oh, something we would like to do better is get the word out about non-credit. I think we've got some really great programs, including programs in professional and career development, and how we can communicate better to our community, to our students about the benefits of non-credit and how these programs can really support them in their educational pathway. Did I miss any of the questions? No, thank you so much.
Great. Thank you. Next is Northeast Community College.
Good afternoon. My name is Faye Kilday from Northeast Community College, and we are one of 6 community colleges in Nebraska. We are very creative in our name. So Northeast, of course, is located in the northeast part of the state. We cover 20 counties, which is really about a 4.5 to 5 hour drive from one side to the other. So a pretty large rural area, primarily agriculture in as far as industry in our region. We also we also have extended campuses in O'Neill, West Point, and South Sioux City. And then Norfolk is our main campus, was really centrally located within our region. We serve around 14,000 students annually, really half and half, right around 7,000 credit and 7,000 non-credit students. We have seen significant growth in our early college programming over the last few years because we are now offering no-cost tuition to our high school students. So we are up to around 37% of our student population being early college. With that also then we have around 42% degree seeking and then around 21% non-degree seeking. We're also split about half and half as far as programming. About half of our students are planning to transfer, half are career and technical. And that's not changed. It's always 1% about every year, changing back and forth. And then we have also adult education, which is a fairly large program for us. We serve around 750 students annually, ABE, GED, ELL, integrated education and training. We're hoping to get our SNAP ENT program going as soon as we get our contract. So that's right around the corner for us. As far as workforce development, we are doing everything from continuing ed and upskilling, customized training, things for industry, apprenticeships, working on those industry recognized credentials, and then more of the hobby and community education as well. Something we're super excited about, we're opening our iHub, which is a new facility for us in Norfolk in hopefully a month or two for a soft rollout, where we will be basically, it's a facility for our community to engage in fabrication, workforce development training. There'll be labs. It's a great place for our youth to come around STEM education, robotics. There'll be opportunities for people to have memberships. And so they'll be able to come in from the community and utilize the tools and equipment in the space, as well as engage in training for employers and others. So we're very excited about that. Wood shop, metal shop, robotics, automation, collaboration space. So very proud of the partnership with the community and the work on that. As far as opportunity, we are a Guided Pathways institution, and we've done a ton of work on the credit side of the house for that. And we've gotten to the point where we would like to make sure that all of our students are on a pathway. And so that's where we want to bring in all of our adult learners and on the non-credit side. So our goal would be to remove barriers and get all students on a path. And it shouldn't matter whether it's credit, non-credit. We want to know what the student's goal is and how do we get them there. And then so we just need to get out of the way. That's our goal. How we do that will be really interesting, and we're hoping to learn a lot from this group about how others are doing that. The first thing we have done about a year ago, we decided to take our workforce development arm and integrate it into our educational services division. So credit, non-credit, everyone lives in the same space, and we're all working together side by side. So that's where we are, and excited to be here.
Great, thank you. Next is Northwest College.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ty Flock, and I'm the interim dean at Northwest College. I'm here with David Erickson, who is the VP of Academic Affairs as well. I think we could challenge possibly Glen Oaks a little bit. We are in Powell, Wyoming, which is in the northwest corner of Wyoming. We're 50 miles from the Yellowstone ecosystem, if you will. We're one of 8 community colleges in Wyoming. Wyoming has 1 state university. As I mentioned, size-wise, we have approximately 1,400 credit-seeking students attending Northwest College. And we were looking at some data as others were presenting. We're around 4,000 non-credit students. Some of that is duplicated. 56 faculty members, 200 plus employees. I would say we're very proud of our international students. We have over 100 international students attending Northwest College. Very rural, agricultural based, serving primarily Wyoming, Montana. I think what program that we're most proud of is our CDL program. We graduate have about 100 students finish that program. That's where we were at last year. So much so that we've actually moved it also to the credit side of things. So now we have a credit and non-credit pathway for CDL students. It's a 6-credit program for those students that are wanting to take it for credit. Due to the, like I said, popularity of the CDL, that's a program that we continue to grow with scholarships through grant work that we work on. An area we want to build or improve, I'd say 2 areas, primarily building enrollment in HVAC, plumbing, construction, and to include the high schools in our area. And I'll get into that just a little bit more, and pathways for our high school students. But also tracking data and tracking that data through our management system. That would be the second area that we would like to improve on. I mentioned including the high schools. We have a robust dual and concurrent enrollment population here at Northwest, with about 30% of our enrollment being from 9 different school districts within the area. That includes 10 high schools. I think what's interesting about that is that this is a 14,000 square mile area that we're serving with those 10 different school districts, which is, if you look it up, about the size of Rhode Island, actually. So very large, and like I said, rural area. We have about 80 programs that we're running through our non-credit. I would say our highlights of those would be electrical, HVAC, plumbing, hazmat, and in the health field. We want to continue to grow those programs, the pathways, and look at the amounts of programs that we can also move towards the credit side, because we have had some programs that were in the workforce center that moved more towards the credit side of the house. So that's a little bit about Northwest College.
Great, thank you. Next is Pearl River Community College.
Hi, this is Rebecca Brown, and I am joined by another Rebecca, Dolores, Missy, Tasha, and Michael. And our college is spread over 3 campuses. We have approximately 6,000 students on the credit side. Kim, I can relate to you. We also have a very difficult time defining the quantity on our non-credit side. Our non-credit is split primarily into open enrollment classes, as well as customized training that we do directly for industry. We're also home to our adult education and youth programming departments. We operate an out-of-school WIOA youth program. Mississippi is the highest poverty state in the union, and therefore a lot of our students face challenges of multi-generational poverty. We spend a lot of time trying to walk with them along their journey. I think something that we do fairly well already is the depth, breadth, and strength of our industry connections and the support that a lot of our industry provide back to us. An area we would really like to improve on is our own internal connections to the other points along the pathway. So better converting from adult education into workforce education students, and then likewise better transferring those connections into the credit career tech side of the house. So helping students to smooth out those two ends of the pathway. I think that's mainly it. And hello, Mary and Christine. And that's it.
Great, thank you. Next is South Texas College.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Maricela Oliva, and I'm the point of contact for the South Texas College program. I have several members of the community of practice with us today, as well as internal supporters of the initiative, but I won't take that time to introduce them today. You'll get to meet them later. South Texas College is the youngest standalone community college in Texas, located along the southernmost border of the state with multiple campuses, serving over 95% Hispanic Latino students. So we are an HSI. The first and main campus is in McAllen, Texas. Students attend from throughout the Rio Grande Valley and also enroll from across the border in Texas. STC was founded in 1993 and serves over 30,000 students through more than 131 degree and certification options that include associate and baccalaureate degrees. We're the only community college in Texas authorized to offer 5 baccalaureate degrees with over 2,200 faculty and staff serving 5 campuses, 2 higher education centers, and 1 virtual campus. Our dual credit program is the only one in the state accredited by the National Alliance of Concurrent Enrollment Partnerships. And since 2000, the program has served 150,000 high school students at 70 high school partners, saving families an estimated $464 million in tuition. We identified several interests for participating in this project, and I'll stop by saying that we look very much forward to learning a great deal more about what other campuses are doing and the challenges that they are handling, and also to contributing. But now what I'd like to do is turn things over to our Dean of Continuing Education and Workforce Development, Olivia de la Rosa, who's going to provide additional information.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Oliva. So I am the Dean of Continuing Education, but here at the college, we actually have 3 departments that handle non-credit. In total, we serve about close to 8,000 students, unduplicated students a year. So one of the things that we do well here at the college is we develop high quality programs that ensure students are successful in whichever path they choose after completing our program, whether it's joining the workforce or going on to a credit program. So our programs are designed so that students not only get the training, but also we embed industry-based certifications to make them more employable. We have also established several prior learning assessment pathways with our credit programs that allow for our students to articulate that non-credit to credit if they choose to go that route. So that's something that we do really well with our programs. One of the things that we'd like to improve is employer collaboration. We have several employer partners with whom we've built very long-standing relationships. We provide training for their workforce. They offer learning opportunities for our students. And then some of them serve on a few of the advisory committees that we have on the non-credit side. But we would like to expand those opportunities, in particular to have employers help us develop programs that align with the available employment opportunities in our region at the moment. Some of the data that we get from our workforce solutions and from our state is dated. It's a couple of years, a year or two. It's old data, you could say. It's current data, but it's not as current as we would like it. And so by collaborating with employers, we would hope that they would bring us more recent data and let us know what kind of employment opportunities are available in our community at the moment. And then By collaborating with employers, we also hope to expand those opportunities for students, employment opportunities, and on the non-credit side, more practicum opportunities for our students. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Next is Spokane Colleges.
Thanks, Kate. Hi, everybody. It's good to see all of these people from across the country. You're all awesome. And we're here in beautiful Spokane, which is in Washington State. We're on the east side of the state, known as the Inland Northwest. The biggest area of jobs is in our aerospace manufacturing and in healthcare. We serve 12,000 square miles, which is nothing compared to some of you in Wyoming or Nebraska. But we have two large campuses, two colleges are part of our district in Spokane, Spokane Falls and Spokane Community College. And then we have four very rural campuses that we also serve. So we serve rural, suburban, and urban, which gives us a lot of different challenges to accomplish. So last year, the colleges had about 14,310 students with an average age of 25. And the interesting part, 35% were first generational and 54% attend full time, which is kind of unique. I'm newer here and it's usually a smaller amount attend full time, but not here. About 3,500 of our non-credit students are in the enterprise system, so they're counted in that 14,000 number. But we have over 6,000 students that work on contract training and work on a few grants that are not included. We think we do really well with our employer outreach. These are some of the best employer advisory committees in my 22 years that I've ever been a part of, and that's very exciting. The part that we really need some help on is our career services. So I could really relate to making sure that we're tracking. We do a poor job of tracking where our students go after they're done with us. We also really need to work on non-credit data. We don't have good systems for non-credit data. And we're really interested in learning how we can better serve our rural areas. We have a large indigenous population, and we actually have a campus on a reservation. And so really working to hear what some of the rural areas are doing in that area would be helpful to us. And we're excited to be here and to see all of you. And thanks for sticking around to hear about Spokane.
Thank you, Julie. And there's a question about what you mean by students being in the enterprise system.
Our system that's the system that we use where all our student data is kept when they register for classes, that kind of information. The students in some of our contracted training are not put into the student data system at all. So that's what I mean. Hopefully that helps.
Okay, thank you. And last but not least is Warwick Community College.
Hi, everybody. Very nice to be with you all and to hear both the similarities, which are very heartwarming, and the uniqueness of this group. So I'm really looking forward to participate. And I want to shout out my colleagues who are part of this project. We have representatives from not only the continuing ed division, but institutional research is here, assessment is here, and student affairs. So I just want to appreciate my colleagues for having that interest and commitment to our non-credit students. So Warwick is located in the state of Maryland in an area called the Lower Eastern Shore. So if you know the state of Maryland, there's a part that sticks out to the west and there's a part that sticks down in the east, kind of a spit of land between the Chesapeake Bay and the Atlantic Ocean. And we're at the very end of that. We represent 3 counties. And if you're wondering about our funny name, it's an amalgam of 2 of our supporting counties, Worcester and Wicomico. We have a fairly diversified economy here on the Lower Shore, which is a good thing. We have manufacturing, we have K-12 and higher ed, we have healthcare, we have a lot of agriculture, a lot of chicken farms. So it's a good economic base for us to operate in. As of FY25, our total unduplicated headcount at Warwick was almost 8,500. And of that, about 4,600 of that unduplicated headcount were non-credit students. So I like to remind people that we represent over half of the unduplicated headcount of the college and about a third of the college's FTE. So our students are definitely a significant part of the mission and the headcount of the college. In continuing ed, we're very diverse. We're about half men and women, where credit tends to skew more female. We're about half and half. We're about half and half white and non-white, and our average age in non-credit is 32. And I attribute that to those students who have kind of been out a bit and have realized that they need to enhance their skills, they need some workforce credentials, they need to support their families, and they come back to us to kind of up their game in terms of their being able to support themselves and their families. We have many of the same programs that you all have mentioned, from healthcare to CDL to trades to culinary, real estate. We probably have a very similar mix to many of you. What I think we do well is have a very practical and positive impact on our students. We definitely see the testimonials where some of the classes that we offered have, literally been life-changing for our students in terms of their earning potential and their economic stability. We're also fortunate in Maryland that the state funds non-credit FTE at the same rate as credit FTE. So that's a real blessing for us in terms of financial stability. What I think my colleagues would agree that what we'd love to do better is break down the silos. We have very positive personal relationships across the campus. We have very positive cross-departmental, cross-divisional. We work really well together, but the systems, I've heard a lot of you say credit side, non-credit side, right? And that kind of just captures, we use the same language, even though I hate it. So that manifests in our business processes, our tech systems, we're really, we've been struggling for years to try to get credit for prior learning, really get some traction with that so we have smoother pathways for our students. And it's a struggle because bandwidth is limited and everyone's well-intentioned, but it can be very challenging to overcome those kind of systemic barriers. So thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. And so you'll see from hearing from all of you why we are so thrilled to work with the 14 different colleges and all of you. It's really hard as a facilitator not to comment on all the great things you were saying along the way, but I wanted to make sure we got through it. But I think, there are some very clear themes of really transformative work that you are all doing in the way you're changing lives, and systems that aren't always designed to support that work. And so thinking about just that, that delineation of non-credit and credit, or the, academic side of the house, or all those things that then translate to students' experiences. So we're very excited to hear from students of what they need, what's working, what's not, and then learning from all of you. And then so you can learn from one another. We really want this to be applied research. So the goal is that the research that comes out can change systems at the college and local level, at the state level and national level. And so I think one of the things that we're really interested in doing is telling the story about the really life-changing, dynamic, responsive, innovative work that is happening in workforce and in non-credit that frequently kind of gets sidelined in narratives. But really highlighting that and also pointing to what needs to change or what more can be done, and being really clear about when that's thing the colleges can do and when we need state funding to change or policies to change. So that's kind of what we're hoping to come out, is that through this project we will do that. And so in terms of the community practice, we also very intentionally chose colleges that represent the really wide range of community and technical colleges in the country. So I think I don't think there's always appreciated or understood how different the setup is state to state, community to community, what the data that's available, the funding that's available, the geography, the students. So that's also what we wanted to do, is make sure that we create an opportunity to lift that up. And yet, as different as all the colleges are, there are certainly some common challenges and successes. So that's the purpose of this. In terms of next steps for the community practice, we will be sending out a schedule here shortly. We wanted to connect with all of you and get the final college on board, and then we will send out the schedule for when we will do the peer learning virtual convenings. And we are going to do a big announcement and push and give you all credit for engaging in this project, but we want to get the last college on board. So we'll give you a heads up when we're doing that. And then in terms of the community of practice, is really want this to be valuable for all of you. So I will be sending out a short poll where you can just identify what you think you would like to present more in depth on. If there's ideas or presenters outside of the community of practice that you think would be helpful to bring in a panel to talk on a certain topic, want to hear about that. And we also know things have been changing rapidly and probably will. So we want to be responsive to emerging policy or funding things that come up so we can pivot to do that. I will turn it over to the EERC team in case there's things with the next steps for the research components they want to touch on.
Sorry, my video is that explains why I've been off. The video just is not working. Cannot start. Zoom error. Anyway, so excuse me for that. But we will be sending out an email or with the that document that we shared earlier about what we're looking for with the program data. So we hope that will be helpful in guiding your efforts that way. And we'll be just asking that you send what you can our way by February 9th. And then look out for an email with more on other next steps in terms of moving forward with the research. So I think that's all from us. Is there anything else I'm missing, team? Okay, that's it for me. And thanks. This is a great conversation today. So exciting to hear about everyone's college and just the wide variation and all the things that we're going to learn together.
We did just get a question in the chat about compiling an at-a-glance directory of the cohort that we could send out so that folks who are part of the community of practice can understand who all is involved.
Yes, we will absolutely do that. And we will share contact information because I know that's really helpful, is that we want you to be able to connect directly to colleges that we're working on like things. The on-site training for the virtual peer learning will be at the NCWE annual conference, which is October 20th through 22nd in Palm Springs. So I am working right now on our rooming, our logistics around that. And so within the next month, I'll let you know. We will do that before the start of the conference, but we start the conference on that Tuesday in the evening. So we'll likely do the pre-conference before that. So, and time it so it's reasonable for flights to get in and out and all of that sort of thing. So that is when that is. So we will, in terms of follow-up, make sure you'll get the information from Michelle. You'll get the Padlet information. You will get a list of the colleges and contacts, and then we will be following up with the date for next steps. And just throughout the opportunity or throughout the project, you will be able to weigh in on the survey and different things that come out. And we'll do that in likely some in meetings, breakout groups, smaller meetings, perhaps with leads, and also a chance to weigh in over email because we know it's not, realistic to have more and more meetings. So we're going to try to be as responsive as we can to get for you getting input and shaping this and making sure that we are getting the information that we need from you and feedback. And please let us know any thoughts anytime of things that worked well or things you'd like to see us improve, because we really want to respond to that. So again, our thanks, and we're really thrilled to work with you. I think this is going to be a really fantastic project, and I'm really excited to learn along the way and then also continue to share the learning. So thank you all for your time and hope you stay warm wherever you are, and we will be in touch.
Thank you.